Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 2535. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. I'm founder Mark Green, and I've handed the keys to this car over to Ginger Baker Rust, who's a lifelong enthusiast. Ginger's here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, and buckle up and get ready for a fun ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today, we are in Race City, USA, the town of Mooresville, North Carolina, with a truly great person who is building a phenomenal motorsports career by the name of Matt Dibenedetto. Hello, Matt. Welcome to Cars Yeah. Do you have it in gear, and are you ready to release the clutch?
Darn right. I'm ready to dump the clutch. We'll burn the tires off of this thing.
There you go. There you go. Matt, please share something about yourself that most people may not know.
Oh, man. Well, the obvious is, I'm a racer. That runs through my blood. But more what people don't know is I've been trying to share a little bit more is I really love to cook. I have a passion for cooking. And that kind of started from I love to work out and lift weights. So eating naturally is a big part of that. So I love to cook food. And a second one that a lot of people don't know is I really like to play disc golf too, being outdoors. So a couple random facts.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
Oh man, it's hard to pick. My favorite food is I love grilling ribeyes. That's always my number one. But I love to smoke food though too. I use my Traeger. I smoke food a lot. Pork butts, ribs, chicken quarters, whole chickens, anything that I can do on the smoker. I love.
Ah, okay. Are you a barbecue guy?
Big time. Yep, 100%.
All right. So here's the argument, right? Always. What's the better barbecue sauce or barbecue? Kansas City, Tennessee, North Carolina, Texas? What's your preference?
Oh man, I'm probably not as biased as some people. I like it all. My biggest preference is that I believe it has to have a vinegar-based barbecue sauce. That's the deciding factor for me.
That's more of a Carolina thing.
Oh. Yeah, 100%.
Well, folks, let's take a moment to tell our listeners a little bit more about you. Matt Dibenedetto, or as I always call him, Matty D, as many fans call him, is a longtime veteran of NASCAR, coming onto the scene in 2009. Matt has nearly 250 starts in NASCAR's top series and is currently racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Viking Motorsports, driving the number 99 Chevrolet Camaro. A native of Grass Valley, California, Matt began the journey to a professional racing career at the age of 7 when he was competing in outlaw kart racing. Matt is a man of great faith, a huge car enthusiast, an animal lover of their adopted dog, Brian, and married to his high school sweetheart, his better half, Taylor, or Tay, as most everyone calls her. So let's take an exciting ride with Matt. Matt, let's go a little deeper into the corner and share with us more about your journey into the motorsports world. How'd you get started?
Yeah, not totally the conventional story because I'm a first generation racer. Nobody in my family had raced, or had any care for it much. My dad drag raced occasionally for fun. He had he had some cars and stuff, but nothing much. His passion was actually baseball. So my dad coached the scouting league for the New York Mets, and just big baseball guy. That's his passion. I played little league baseball, and he said I was average, so I wasn't anything special at it.
Like, find something new, son.
Yep. So he's always very honest, and I was okay at it, but it wasn't really my passion. I enjoyed it. My parents made the mistake of getting me a four-wheeler and a dirt bike at the age of 5, and we had 6 beautiful green acres until they got me a four-wheeler and a dirt bike, and then I tore it all to shreds and rode every single day. So my passion was really riding four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and one day my parents are passing through the channels on TV, and then on a Sunday and passed by NASCAR, and I made my dad go back to it, and he was like, I quote, "What the hell do you want to watch that for?" And so then it became every week. So I watched it, and I loved the number 99 Exide Batteries car of Jeff Burton. That was like my guy. First race I ever watched, I picked him. I said, I like that car. I like him. And I became a Jeff Burton fan. And then it became our family thing. We watched it every single week. We watched NASCAR on Sundays. And then long story short is at one of our Little League baseball award ceremonies, my dad's the coach, and he, brought me up and he said, this is my little Jeff Gordon. He likes baseball, but he loves racing. And one of the kids on the team just so happened to actually race at a local dirt track that Kyle Larson and I grew up racing at, and Tyler Reddick and a handful of us, but Cycleland Speedway out in Chico, California. Then they were like, hey, Matt loves racing. We race out here every week. Come check it out. And we went out there, watched one week, and my parents were like, is this something you want to do? And I just shook my head yes. I was very quiet. I'm in reserve, but I just gave them a nod of a yes, I want to do it. And for my 7th birthday, I got a dirt outlaw kart to go start racing out there. And that's what got me into racing.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of drivers out there that started out in dirt. And, of course, most of them that I know of started out in outlaw racing or, outlaw kart racing. But I've found that, in my opinion, is that you can really tell the race car drivers that have dirt experience versus never racing in dirt, as they come up the ranks. Do you find that was extraordinarily helpful to start in dirt?
100%. Yeah, I think it teaches you so much throttle and car control that I think the experience, personally, I think the dirt racing experience is irreplaceable, and it makes you very versatile, I believe. So I love the dirt racing experience, and it's kind of like riding a bike. Last year did some dirt racing. I hadn't done it in a long time, and I jumped in a dirt non-wing micro. Yeah. We had some really good runs out at Millbridge, and we're fast, and it kind of comes back to you like riding a bike.
Oh, absolutely. I grew up in Southwest Missouri around the dirt, just nothing but dirt tracks, actually. My dad was a dirt track racer, raced back in the day with a couple of known names now, but they weren't known then, back in the day with where, Mark Martin raced and where the Wallaces raced and Larry Phillips and Ken Schrader. And so it was, dirt was my thing. And so, yeah. And like I said, I don't know if you're familiar with the Larry Phillips, but have you ever watched Larry Phillips drive a dirt car? People say that he was just like Dale Earnhardt, but he could see through the dust and he could see the air.
That's awesome. I love it, man. Dirt racing, it runs in your blood when you do it. It's so. I mean, I love the NASCAR stuff and what I do, but anytime I get a chance to hop back in a dirt car, it is. I mean, it's so much fun. You still have that lifelong passion for it.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, throughout your career, I know that there are people who have been great inspirations to you. Would you share with us a key mentor who helped you to be successful? Who's been the most influential person in your life?
Man, it's hard to pick just one. God's put so many great people into my path that have truly changed my life, and within not only in life as a whole, but within the motorsports industry, which has been great. So to name off a couple, my parents, of course. My dad's definitely a man of wisdom and very, very persistent in life. So that's where I get my stubborn persistency from, which is, probably a lot of the reason why I've been blessed to be where I'm at driving race cars was a stubborn persistency. And some others would be Michael McDowell. Within the industry, McDowell was, really a mentor to me in many ways. He really helped me in my faith journey when I started asking larger questions in life. He was put in my path. We were just friends for a while. And then when I started asking some questions that were kind of uncomfortable to me at the time, he was a guy that I felt comfortable asking more life-related questions because I knew he was a man of faith. And right. I had some questions beyond the temporary and beyond, racing and bigger life questions. And he really, helped me in that journey. And man, I've had so many great people. My former crew chief, Gene Need, who was with me in the Cup Series at BK Racing and then Go Fast Racing was also, he's like a dad to me still to this day. So it's neat how in life and through the motorsports industry, very impactful people have been put in my path who have really changed my life, my marriage, my personal life, everything from the industry that we work in.
That's great. It's a tough industry. Most people, I think, look at it when you when you're in NASCAR, when you're IndyCar, you're in the racing industry, people from the outside, they look at it and think that, it's so glamorous and they get to travel and they get to race cars and fly on planes and stay at these nice hotels and, do all these things. And people don't understand what grind it actually is to not only your professional life, but your personal life. And man, you need those people around you that can really keep you between the rails, so to speak.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's for sure. It's a grind, and it's a industry that can really, for lack of a better way to put it, it kind of sucks you into it, where you're,
Yep.
where your whole identity and your life and everything gets so immersed in it that sometimes you can forget to have fun and enjoy the process and enjoy life. And we're guilty of forgetting to have fun and enjoy the ride just because, we're competitors and we're kind of wired one way. And we're all in type personalities, which can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. So, and, back when I was racing cup stuff, now the schedule's changed and condensed a little, but back then, we fly out on Thursday mornings and then, you're at the track, you're practice qualify Friday, practice Saturday, race Sunday, post-race meetings Monday, prep for, the next race Tuesday, simulator Wednesday. I mean, it's an around the clock grind, and that's tough on your personal life, your marriage, everything. It's so fun. I love what I do, but yeah, it's definitely hard to walk with a balance in this.
Absolutely. I've explained it to people that there's about 1,100 of us that is a flying circus, right? But we're a family. Right. And I explained the same thing, like Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what track you're going to, you're going and you're all getting on a plane, and basically all the planes are together, generally out of Statesville or Concord. And, you got everybody showing up and they're putting their stuff on the planes and everybody's getting in their seats they normally get in. And it's the beginning of the season and everybody's excited because going to Daytona, or whatever. Right. And so you all get on the plane, you all land at the track that you're going to be at, you all get off, they give you the keys to the rental car. There's 1,100 people flipping the button on the rental car, trying to find out which one's there.
All the panic alarms.
I learned to pop the trunk. So I can
that's the ticket right there.
Yeah. And then everybody jumps in their cars, they go to the hotel, they check in, they go over to the track, they spend 3-4 days at the track, 12, 18-hour days, or however long the race or practice or whatever it's going to be. And then, all the things that you got to do, the media and all those other things. And then you race. You could jump back into your rental car right after the race, the Sunday race. You all race each other back to the airport. You all get on the planes. You're getting handed your little sandwich that you get on the plane. And it's probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you're landing Monday morning, 4 or 5 a.m. And then you get off, you unpack, you go sleep a little bit, you do your laundry, you repack. And Tuesday, you do whatever you need to do Tuesday and then back out by Wednesday. And people are like, and you do that for 10 and a half months. And, and then I've explained to people that you get through about July and then you're like, man, is season ready to be over yet? Just gosh. And then you get to the last race of the year and like, man, I'm glad the season's over. And then you get through Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and about January 3rd, you're like jonesing because you're like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for season to start again. Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. That's what my wife, Tay, was like about right after New Year. She's like, you need to go racing. You're getting too bored. And I know that I'm getting the itch real bad and ready to go. Cause then I start playing iRacing, like a stupid amount of hours upon hours on iRacing. And she's like,
it's so
all right, it's time to go back racing.
Yeah. People just don't understand her. They're like, how can you do this for like 10 and a half months and then, have a couple of weeks off and you're ready to go again? Because it's just, that's your family. It's not even necessarily missing the racing all the time. That's your family. You live with them more than your own family for all that time.
Yeah, and truly you do. I mean, when I back, especially in the cup days and the old schedule, I'm like, man, I spend more time around my race team and all the family at the racetrack than sometimes my own wife, unless she, travels. That's why she would have to travel to some of the races with me, because sometimes your schedule is just so wild, that's your time together. Like, all right, our dates are after practice and we're going out to dinner in Atlanta or wherever we're at. You gotta work it in.
And work it in. Matt, Please share with us a difficult challenge, failure, obstacle that you faced, whether in personal life or business, and tell us how you overcame that situation and what did you learn?
Oh man, there's too many to list. I'm very thankful for where I'm at now, and being 33, going to be 34 years old this year is I like getting older a little better. I think we think with a little more wisdom and slow down a little bit. So, man, it's hard to point out one example, but I would say as a whole, when my cup career was ramping up more and more, and then I went to the 95 team and we almost won Bristol, and we're like running up front, top five and them to death, and really having a lot of success and really getting on the map at a higher caliber. And then I got the opportunity to drive for the Wood Brothers, which was amazing. I think if I was going back and now, the trials and things that I've went through, I wouldn't change them because it's made me into the man that I am today and the husband I am today and all these things. And I have a lot more gratitude in life. But back then, I think my identity was so immersed in it, and it was like, oh, my life depends on this day and this race, and and all that it wasn't good for my mental health and things, and you let stress and pressure and things get on you, which that's not, now I don't have those things on me. But to answer your question, I would say the most trialing time for probably a lot of people, not just me at all, but was going through the time of COVID and the world shutting down, and we're trying to race, and this is my opportunity with the Wood Brothers, but then we're having to deal with a lot of outer obstacles and things that were just distracting. It was a very difficult time, and I think I let frustration of those things kind of get the best of me in certain areas. It was just a very noisy time in life. Then after kind of being stripped of more than just the racing stuff, I felt like we all go through seasons in life, and I felt like I went through a season, a long season starting after in 2021 and beyond, of just being stripped of a lot of different things in life and being kind of felt like I got down to a place of vulnerability and naked as a baby in life, where you get humbled down to about nothing. But that was my most trialing time, was being here in my career, and then it all just kind of like the rug being swept out from underneath me, and me not knowing how to handle things with probably the wisdom and maturity that I have today. But what I would say to that is why I say I wouldn't change a bit of it is because it's all your suffering and your trials in life can always be turned around as a big blessing on the other end if you give it time. Because now I go, wow, that humbled me and removed and stripped a lot of pride out of my life, because pride is the detriment and downfall of many things. So it stripped me of that. So I'm so thankful I got broken down and I had to go through a lot of suffering, because it removed something that was detrimental out of my life, which was pride and any anger or unforgiveness or distractions or just being sucked into the world. It's all those things got me to kind of view life more from a 30,000 foot view versus being sucked into the world. And it brought me, now fast forward to today, it really dug me into my faith and my personal relationship with the Lord. I'm not afraid to say that at all, because God really dug me out of the trenches and has grown me as a man, as a husband, as as a person who now appreciates and loves people a whole lot more. I could go on and on and on about that, but those trials and suffering and being stripped of a lot of things really blessed me a ton on the other end. And talk about being restored. Now I'm driving full time in the Xfinity Series with amazing team owners, an awesome team. I'm driving the 99, which is cool because that goes back to the Exide Batteries Jeff Burton story. I'm driving the 99, so that's kind of cool, full circle. And I walk with now that I feel like this got restored to me only by the grace of God, is now I have a whole lot more gratitude, and I'm not a person that makes the same mistakes twice in life. I'm not a big fan of that. I learn and try and walk with humility, but now doing this, I have so much more joy of these things I forgot, like just going to the racetrack, like going to Daytona and being like, man, how did I forget all these years that I drive race cars for a living and I'm at Daytona? Like, don't forget the inner child. When I'm at the race shop, I just have fun walking in the shop, cutting up with the guys. And like, I just have way more of a smile on my face throughout my days because of what you asked about, which is the trials and the hardships that we go through have been good on the other end.
To play a little bit off of what you were saying of how COVID changed our industry completely and how difficult it was at a time it was. Most people, and again, most people that aren't in the sport or in the industry don't realize how it changed our industry in every aspect, the personal life, the business life, how partnerships work, how the teams are working, the schedule. And, I know that when, here we are, March 2020, we're all just leaving Phoenix, getting to Atlanta for the next race. And next thing you know, everything just stops. Everything just stops. And I will tell you that during that time, talking about sharing a little bit more and expanding a little more about what you were talking about, there were several of us, pit crew, hauler drivers, us marketing people, everybody that were texting each other and checking on each other because, we were like, what do we do? Right. And a lot of the people that are in racing live by themselves, and the racing family is their family. Right. And so, checking in on each other and the mental health aspect became really clear on how it was affecting so many people. And we were doing literally mental health checkups, on each other. I know one particular person that, I got to a point that I was very concerned if we didn't go back racing, what that was, how dark of a place that was going to take them. And, and again, I just don't think people realize what that did to us as an industry. And then we were the first ones back. The whole changed. And I think, like you said, it gave everyone such a different outlook and an appreciation for what we do for a living. And
to your point, like even just having fans at the racetrack, what a greater appreciation we have for when we raced in silence with no fans. That was the weirdest thing ever. And so definitely those very odd times in the world were a blessing to a lot of our lives, and probably got a lot of people's marriages straight, being like, hey, spend time together and get your junk figured out. And like a lot of very quiet time, families at home together. It was like a time of getting your junk figured out.
Yeah, it's like, how do we live together? We haven't seen you in,
right?
You dinner that much. Right.
So crazy, the weirdest time in the world. But yeah, now we have so much appreciation. Now I'll never complain about traffic at races because I'm like, that means fans are here, baby. We're good.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It changed everything. It changed the way that we looked at everything.
Yeah.
So please share with us what you would still like to accomplish in the next chapter of your life.
Oh, man, it's a good question. I've thought about that a lot. Fans always, every week ever since I, exited the Cup Series in 2021, there hasn't been 1 week where I don't get asked a million times, when are we going to see you back in Cup? We miss you in Cup and all that. And I totally appreciate that from fans and just appreciate that the fans have been with me and stuck by my side through ups and downs and through mistakes on my end and all kinds of life. They've done life with me, really. But I think I'm just more at peace with whatever the future holds. I'm a competitor, so whatever I step in this opportunity here with Viking Motorsports, I'm all in times 1,000. And to answer your question, I think my goals would be really this team chose to believe in me 100%. And so in turn, I believe in them 100%, and I am committed, and this is my home, and I want to build it. It's cool because it's not like I just drive for the team. We're building this thing together. So I feel like I have a lot more invested interest than, Matt's the driver for Viking. I'm like, no, we've been doing this all together as a family, as a group. So this is my home. If there's an opportunity So goal-wise, I would like to get a win for Viking Motorsports. Just like I got the first win for Rackley War Racing, I want to get the first win for Viking Motorsports. I would like to continue to grow and elevate this team and continue to put it on the map at a higher and higher capacity as we grow this thing. And I hope I drive here for 10 more years, honestly. I would love to just have a home for many years to come because they're the greatest people. Don and Suzanne are the greatest owners in the world, and I have a lot of gratitude for that alone. And if there's an opportunity to jump behind the wheel of a cup car, of course, I'd love to be in those conversations. This is my home and this is my focus, but I would definitely, love the opportunity to be in a conversation if something happened or someone, needed to jump in a Chevrolet Cup car or something like that. I love to wheel and get in anything, but I just want to continue to grow this team and have success. And most importantly, my focus is more giving back to the fans and having fun with them and enjoying the process, as I get to do what I do for a living.
Yeah, Viking Motorsports, even though you guys are a new team this year, you guys have a stout lineup of NASCAR veterans in your stable behind the scenes and in management and in administration, and you yourself in, the cars. I'm excited. I'm excited about this team. There's a lot of teams I'm not excited about, that I'm very excited about the team for the fact that you guys have a long bench from very experienced people in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Pat Tryson as my crew chief, and everybody in the industry knows Pat. He's been around a long time. He's a smart guy. He's forgotten more than I'll ever know, probably. So he's a good dude. I love working with him, and we've got some great guys in the shop. And then I've talked about this, but we have Jeremy Lang as our manager of the team, and Jeremy was the president of Levine Family Racing, the '95 Cup car that I got to drive. So it's neat how that's come around full circle. And Jeremy does a fantastic job, as people already see just through social media and our team's presence, of building a professional team. So our team acts professional across the board. So he's a great leader for it. And then we've got Doug Campbell, who's my spotter. He's been my spotter since driving the '95 car as well. So him and I have a very, very good relationship, and we work together so well. So it's yeah, even though we're a newer team, there's a lot of familiarity there.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move to talk a little bit more about you and a very special vehicle story. Tell us about a truly special vehicle in your life. Share a great memory or an experience that you've had with that vehicle.
Yeah, this is an easy one. I actually have this car in my garage today as we sit. It's my very first ever Corvette. It's a 2012 C6 Corvette Grand Sport. Oh. And it was my first ever Corvette I bought. I bought it brand new. I forget how old I was, but I got it in 2012. And I always was my dream was I wanted to have a Corvette because I love the LS motors and what you can do with them, how you can modify them and stuff. I've always been a big Corvette guy. And ever since my friend Mark actually really kind of gave me the bug of Corvettes and LS motors and stuff back years ago. So that was always the car I wanted. It's a cyber gray metallic C6 Grand Sport Corvette. And I had it and I let it go. I sold it after having it a good chunk of years. And then a couple of years ago, I actually was able to buy it back. I missed that car, and I always regret. I had so much seller's remorse. It's not even funny, because that car had sentimental value to me, and the memories of why was not only because I'm a gearhead and I did headers, exhaust, a cam, it's got a built motor now, but a cam, super centrifugal supercharger on it, all the above, and lowered it, wheels, all the carbon fiber, aero on it, and, really truly made it my own car. I did all that, but the memories in it were that was mine and my wife Tay's date car. And we would always take that thing. I mean, I drove the heck out of it. We would take it on dates every week. And that was, and Tay she loves cars too. So we had fun, being loud and obnoxious and maybe cruising around town when that was a thing when we were younger, and just, having fun ripping around in that thing and doing car meets with friends. And so there are so many personal memories with that car that's my baby, that now I've got it back in my garage. I told her, I said, if I ever talk about selling this thing, you grab a shovel and you hit me upside the head as hard as you can with it. Do not let that thing leave my garage.
Absolutely. That sounds wonderful. The memories that you associate with cars and music, right?
Yep. Oh, 100%. They have so much sentimental value in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here on Cars Yeah, we play a little game called Car Psychology, getting into your head a little bit. If you were a car, what would you be? And more importantly, why? Now, this isn't what you want to be, but instead how you perceive yourself manifested as a vehicle.
Well, I think because that car is a part of me, it would be my Corvette because they like are it would be that particular and not just a Corvette, the C6 Corvette is what I would be manifested into because it's a driver's car, and I like it just in cars in general. I like the raw driving experience. I like 6-speed manual where you're rolling through the gears, and I like the throaty V8 cam sound. It's got to have the choppy cam, so it sounds like a race car, and you're sitting there idling and shaking at a stoplight. That's 100% my jam. And if I'm a car, it's gonna have to be a cammed, loud, supercharged, built V8 Corvette manual.
Yeah, you got to hear it. You got to feel it, and you got to definitely feel it in the seat for sure. It's got to have that roar and rumble.
Yep, you feel it right to your bones, man. There's nothing that replaces that driving experience.
That's right. Well, let's go on the ultimate drive. I am writing a blank check for this ultimate drive with no limitations. If I could wave a magic wand and arrange for you to go on the ultimate drive, what vehicle would you be in, and whom would it be with?
Um, you know, I think I would have to choose a Porsche 911 RSR race car because nothing sounds like, I mean, there's nothing that sounds like that. I'm a V8 guy, like we just said, but that car for a race car is the sound travels over every other car on the track. I don't care what's on track. You're going to hear that Porsche 911 RSR over anything by a mile because they are 50 times louder than anything else, and they sound amazing. I just sit and ask my wife. I just sit and watch videos of them, and I'll just listen to them on replay. So it would probably be that car, and if I'm picking a track, I would be at Bathurst or Mount Panorama. Ripping around that racetrack would be a dream if I'm waving a magic wand. And honestly, I've thought about, who would I want to ride with? One, I want to be driving because that's an experience I'm not passing up. But who would I want to be with? I would have to say I'm gonna have to pick two options. One would be my wife, just because I'd want to scare the heck out of her, and there would be nothing that would scare her more than that racetrack in that kind of car. Or two, I would want to take Darrell Waltrip for a ride because I remember when he went for a ride around that track, he about had heart failure, and it was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that would be great. Oh, I could just hear him. I could hear him.
The commentary, yep.
The commentary.
Those are my answers.
That's great. Would there be anything particular you want to ask DW or say to him?
No, I wouldn't even want to ask him a thing. I would actually just want to sit back and hear his commentary. That'd be more rewarding than anything. I love listening. He's a good dude. I
would kill to see that, really.
Yep.
Love him.
If anyone hasn't watched that video of DW going for a ride in a V8 supercar around Mount Panorama, 100% after you listen to this, pull that up and watch that video because it was hilarious. He about had heart failure.
We may have to post that video on your notes page on your podcast page.
100%. It was so good. But that track's wild. Like that track isn't like anything else. You're literally driving a part of it through the mountains, downhill, very tight. Like that's one of the most treacherous racetracks there are.
Well, Matt, you've talked about all the people in your life that have helped you and given back to you. What are some of the ways you have helped others or given back? And this could be in your life or career field.
Yeah, I'd say in my life, a shift in my mentality is a lot of my life. Although, I mean, I have a wonderful family. I was raised right and raised to respect, other people. My dad always said, if he ever saw me disrespect a fan, he doesn't care if he's in a wheelchair. He'll figure out a way to get out of that wheelchair and punch me upside the head. So I'm thankful that I have a great family and was raised well, but also, a lot of the years of my life, my identity was in me. And it was a lot of thinking more of life is about me than it is. And so now that a lot of my identity and who I am has changed, now what I really like to do is, and a focus this year is when you focus on giving back, you're more in the will of, you're probably operating more in the will of God and walking with life a little bit better. And this year we want to, we're stockpiling a ton of, I'm going to give you two answers. One from a more, materialistic manner is we're going to just be, we've been discussing, me and my wife have been like, how can we like give back, to people and fans, because they've been through this journey, just like very crazy roller coaster of ups and downs throughout the years, and stuck by my side. So we want to, and the thing that's been on my mind and my prayer life is like, where do you want me? Where do you want my focus? And the words have been give back, have a give back mentality in everything you do. And so we're just stockpiling a whole bunch of merchandise. We just placed a humongous order today, and we're going to be just doing tons of giveaways and even little stuff like at the racetrack. Instead of having my one or two Viking Motorsports hats, we're ordering 33 of them for every race. So when it's over, I can sign it and find a kid and give it to, just little gestures and giving back and doing giveaways on social media and things. But in a more life related answer would be, because of my faith journey and what, Michael McDowell and multiple people poured into me, I try and pour into other people as far as, helping to mentor them and just share, really just be like, do life with people and help and share them, encourage them, whether it's sending them something or a verse or things that get put on my heart, in my mornings before I start my days, helping to basically disciple other people and help them in their, because we're all, life ain't easy. We all need to do life with other people. You can't do it alone. So I try and pour into other people and help share things that radically, help me as a person, help me to be more confident in who I am today.
Well, speaking of sharing, could you share a great book that you've read, an article, or something that you've watched that you believe others could learn from?
Yeah, this is an easy one too. And again, when I answer it, I'm like, I'm more respectful now of, hey, we have free will to believe however and whatever we want. We're free creatures, But for me, I hated reading, never read really. It was like torture in school for me to have to read a book or anything. So now to fast forward to today, me actually reading every single day is a miracle. And that's proof that God works miracles. So, honestly, when I picked up the number one best-selling book of all time, which was the big old Bible, I have an NLT Life Application Study Bible, very easy to read and consume. When I was starting from square one, reading the Gospel of Matthew, and my name is Matt, so I kind of was like, I guess I'll start there.
There you go. Radically
enlightened me to a lot of different things and changed my perspective. It all comes down to what your perspective and your beliefs are, and that. The book of Matthew definitely changed all of my perspective in it, not just, in life as a whole, in racing, applying to, now just because of that book and my spiritual walk. It's funny, like I share this story a lot. When I was at Talladega, we won, in 2022 and the truck race there. And I go, man, I'm so thankful that I've changed as a person and I've dug into my relationship, not religious stuff, my personal, spiritual, one-on-one relationship with the Lord, because I remember I use this race as an example because we as racers a lot of times operate off of emotions in the race car, and we get really amped up and fired up, and we can make poor decisions based on operating off of feelings or emotions. And I've kind of learned in my journey to start kicking that out and not operating off of those things and just focusing on what's in your control and trying to maintain peace even through chaotic circumstances. And it's Talladega. Before the race, I went, man, I know our truck can't lead very well. It doesn't have a lot of speed up front, but I believe it can push well. So if I could wave a magic wand, I'd really like to be in third on the white flag, second in line on the bottom.
Absolutely.
Yep. I was like, that's where I want to be. And then
first and second are sitting ducks. We all know it. Yeah.
Yep. So sure enough, we take the white flag, and guess where I'm sitting? Third. I'm second in line on the bottom. And I was like, All right, well, I got my wish here. I better execute. And it was funny because I'd really been digging into focusing on that as a racer. Like, don't operate off of emotions and don't let those things, it blinds you. If you let chaos or emotions or stress or your heart rate to go through the roof, it just blinds your mind, you know? And so I was like, nope, none of that. Operate like Tom Brady and all of his billion Super Bowls. Just stay calm as a cucumber. And on the white flag, back straightaway, and you just feel everyone slamming each other and going crazy. And there's not a whole lot of calculated mindset, you know, in the field. And I remember just being like, yep, nope, there's still a long ways around. Hang on, just keep pushing him. Don't make a move, whatever. And I was very calculated in everything I did. I was locked on to Brett Holmes' bumper. Then I kind of came off of his bumper, reattached to him off the corner, shoved him, made him make a move. Then the two leaders, him and the leader, they kind of chased each other up the racetrack, and I just went, all right, thank you. And I just cruised on through on the bottom. And it wasn't really until the next day when I was like, wow, that only happened because I was able to stay really calm through the things that I've learned and God has taught me through his word over the last few years is what directly applied to me winning that race, because it changed my thinking process in the race, and it weeded out a lot of emotions and a lot of things that I wish I wouldn't change anything. But if I kind of had that mindset and that knowledge back through my cup career, I had a very successful cup career, and we could have won 5 cup races. You know, I mean, we were in position so many times and leading on the white flag multiple times, you name it. But I'm like, wow, that probably would have really impacted my cup career as well. But now I'm just thankful to be where I'm at.
Could you give our listeners a final parting words of wisdom and advice about life or business? And do you have a favorite quote or mantra that has meaning to you?
I do. My advice would be take it from the one who is a professional at it. Don't fight against life. Operate with life as a business partner. That's kind of how I view my relationship with God. Everyone's got their own walk in life. We're all doing life for the first time, every single one of us alike. So I think operating, I say this a lot. Yeah, walk with life, not against life, you know, and we all are guilty of when things don't go well. And none of us are perfect at this, but if things don't go right or don't go well, I'm trying to dig in and be like, okay, what am I being taught through this? What's the point of this versus just getting mad, you know? So that's helped me a lot. And a quote or a verse is my number one favorite. Is Jeremiah 29 verse 13. It's, you'll seek me and find me when you seek me with your whole heart. So meaning why that impacted me a lot is if you humble yourself in life in general, things get a whole lot clearer, and then you can walk, you know, with peace and walk with God and have that personal relationship and know him personally, not from like a feeling like at a distance. You know, you can go inward versus going outward, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of the saying in racing, the car goes where your eyes go, but you know, it's also your life goes where your mind goes.
Amen to that. 100%. Yeah. I use a funny car example all the time. I'm like, listen, it's easy, man. Whatever you're looking for is what's going to pop up in your life. Whenever I'm like, man, I really want a ZL1 Camaro. And then you're looking for Camaros on the road, and then you find and pick out every single Camaro that's out there on the road. When I wasn't looking for Camaros, I didn't really pay attention, didn't see them. When you start looking for Camaros, you see every single one of them that's on the road. And it's the same thing in life when you start seeking, you know, with your whole heart and with humility, not pride in the way. When you're humble and you start seeking, you know, with your whole heart, you will find.
So Matt, finally, tell us the best way that our listeners can learn more about you. Website, social media, LinkedIn.
For sure. My Instagram is Matt D Racing. My Facebook page is Matt Dibenedetto Racing. Also, I have friends/fans that run our Guido Nation Facebook page. So there, we have a lot of fun in there. So that's a more like, we'll call it a club, I guess. Yeah. If people want to jump in there, that's fun. My Twitter is Matt D Racing as well. I'd say my Instagram and Facebook is what I use the most. And then my website is mattdracing.com, and we've got new merch that's popping up, and we're rolling out on there, 99 gear and all that stuff. But we like to have a lot of fun on my social media. We're going to be doing a lot of giveaways this year, and I just like to share not only my racing life, but my personal life too, my relationship with Tay and the fun that we have. Our dog Brian, most importantly, he's the best looking one in the house. So it's a battle between him and Tay, but he's a cool one. We love him and have a lot of fun with our dog. So we just like to share life with people.
There you go. Well, listeners, you can find these links to everything we've talked about here today at carsyeah.com on the Matt Dibenedetto link on the notes page. Matt, I want to thank you for being so generous with your time and sharing your experiences with our listeners. I'm truly, truly appreciative of that.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. It was fun chatting, talking cars, talking life, and all the above.
Yeah, catching up. All right. Well, on that note, until we talk again, I will see you down the road.
Thank you so much for joining us here today on Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find today's guest show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up. It's an ebook filled with gorgeous photos of fuel filler fun, including quotes from our inspiring automotive enthusiasts. While you're on the website, sign up for weekly blogs and a whole lot more. Download your copy today, and Ginger will see you next time here on Cars Yeah.